Well, it is 7 o'clock, so I'll welcome you all and ask you if you would join me, please, after I call the meeting to order, in the pledge to allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shirley, would you take roll call, please?
Mayor Hammond.
Here.
Gary Lambert.
Here.
Mike Connell.
Here.
Bob Porter.
Here.
Megan Galvey. Here. Kamal Ghazi.
Here.
Kristen Babel.
Here. Looking for approval of our agenda for tonight.
I move that the agenda be adopted as printed. Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion passes. Oh, Kamal,
Sorry.
you don't want to
I
say.
meant, sorry.
Don't mess me up
It's
here.
been I'm on break.
Are you good? Are you
Yeah.
okay with it? All
I'm
right.
good, we're good.
Looking now for reading and approval of the minutes of our December 19th meeting.
I move that, go ahead, Larry.
I vote that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the December 19th, 2024 regular meeting.
I second that.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Kamal. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. We're up to our pre-approved reports. And tonight we have the annual report from the Planning Commission. Chairperson Genevieve Cottrell is going to present that report. Thank you for coming to do that.
Thank you all very much for giving the Planning Commission the opportunity to present to City Council. My name is Genevieve Cottrell. I am the current acting chairperson of the Planning Commission. First, were there any questions or anything that needed clarification or corrections in the annual report?
This is the best report I've ever seen.
Well, the Planning Commission is a busy group.
So good.
They're a busy group. So you'll see just kind of some of our bylaws and some of our actions. Of course, working on the redevelopment ready communities was top priority, and the capstone of that was the master plan. Everybody here on the Planning Commission and in City Council, the Mayor's office and city offices were just absolutely instrumental in putting that together. It is a remarkable document. I think it's something that the entire city should be proud of, and will definitely be a driving force in moving the Planning Commission forward when we look at opportunities for rezoning and requests for rezoning. Does it fit within the master plan? And also gives all departments within the city and committees an opportunity to have more opportunities to apply for grants and funding elsewhere. So the master plan was very important, and I wanted to thank the City Council for approving the funds to move forward with hiring McKenna. That was a stroke of genius. I'd like to thank, of course, Larry Lambert and Megan Galbraith, who were the absolute driving force, along with Mayor Hammond, to move that forward, give that the once, twice, 946 once over, to make sure it was exactly what would be great for the city and for its residents. So that was a major accomplishment, so thank you to you all for your foresight in making that happen. Next year, we are hoping to see more activity with being able to review site plans, special land use permits. We really only had one order of business on that, which is a bit reduced from in years past things that we've looked at. So we've reached out to the zoning administrator to make sure that, you know, we're all getting that information, and if there is anything that needs to come to the Planning Commission, that we can have a chance to review that, and of course bring our recommendations to City Council. So we do have our Planning Commission has identified some training opportunities that they would like to take advantage of, possibly through the MSU extension. It's a good governance series that they have that goes over the basics of Open Meetings Act, and some other parliamentary procedure. We do have some new members on the planning commission, and they were looking for more confidence in those areas so that we can conduct city business in a manner becoming the city. So shortly, we'll be asking for a budget request to pursue that training. Other than that, we'll be business as usual, continuing to work on the redevelopment ready community tasks that we have, and to offer our participation and assistance as the capital improvement plan moves forward. So we know that we can be helpful in that regard, so we're looking for your guidance on how we can best assist.
Okay. Anyone on council have any comments or questions for Genevieve? Or we have 2 other planning commission, 3 other ones here.
Yes.
If you have questions for
Yes.
them. Anybody?
I think the only other point, you may have already talked to Sue about it, and that is that Jared Lytle has agreed to serve on the
Grant
grant
committee.
committee activity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, he's showing great
We've
interest.
got it
in
written
that.
down in pen. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's
Thank you
great.
for extending that
Oh,
opportunity to the
yeah,
planning
we're
commission.
excited about that.
Okay, thank you for your time today, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone from the community would like to review the master plan or the abbreviated annual report, they're available here at City Hall. Just let us know. Moving on then to public comment. Anyone here for public comment tonight? You are. You can step right up here.
Absolutely.
Let us have your name, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Chris Eveleth, and I am the new Community Relations and Grants Manager for what is now called Shiawassee Health and Wellness, used to be called Community Mental Health. And I'm just out in the communities around the county because we do service the entire county. And we do service folks who are on Medicaid only currently, though there is a medium-term goal of finding a way to accept private insurance as well. But that is one of the limitations. Another limitation we currently have is a shortage of social workers, which we see across the entire country, really. But I wanted to hand some information to the council just about, where we are, what we do. And then I also wanted to point out a grant that we currently are working under called COSUP, C-O-S-S-U-P, which is the Comprehensive Opioid and Substance Use Program. And this, while it is administered between Shiawassee Health and Wellness and the Owasso Police Department, does cover the entirety of the county. And so what is this? It's a tool for our local law enforcement officers. I think we're all pretty aware that police today are pulling triple duty on a lot of things. They're expected to play, law enforcement. They're expected to be social workers in some instances. And so what this does, this is a tool for them if they choose to use it, and if they have somebody who, they have to respond to an overdose. They can call this number, and social workers can be on spot within a matter of hours to get them into service for mental health help. So this grant, we've had actually for a couple of years, and it's really been underutilized. And we're gonna try to renew it when it expires. I think it's a great tool for folks. We also do training if any of the local police agencies want to get training from our agency on this, on how to properly use it. We can send someone in to do that as well. But there's a phone number on here just above the QR code that anyone can call. It could be any one of you, it could be one of the police officers who wanna get somebody on site, and I believe that operates 24/7. So there's a little bit of information on that as well. So I just wanted to reiterate that we're here, we service everyone in the county, and we're proud to be here and proud to have Perry as part of our county.
Are you referring to the CIT response? Is that what you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
Is it the CIT response? Is that what you mean?
CIT?
Yes.
I believe so, yes, I just handed I'm a little bit newer with the organization too, so
Okay.
a lot of questions I can't answer yet, just because I've only been on the job for 3 weeks.
Okay.
But, yeah,
So, are you guys a CCDH or not yet?
not yet, that
Not
is
yet.
the goal.
Okay.
That is the goal, that's what we're trying to get toward. We're just currently just a community mental health taking Medicaid, but we want to get there. That's a goal within the next 2 to 3 years to see if that's viable. Because a lot of counties that have that already are a lot larger than we are. So we want to make sure that, you know, it's a viable thing. I think it is.
I am a social worker.
Oh,
I know what
great.
you're talking
Great.
about. So, my question is this your CIT response phone number right there? Above the QR code?
I would have to ask my operations director.
Okay, because if that's the case, that number should definitely go to police and fire. And I think it's one of the best tools. I didn't know that you guys started having that kind of response, and it's at 24/7.
Yep.
I will have a social worker responding with the police officer if needed. That's what I'm hearing you say, if I'm understanding that correctly. So what you're saying is 24/7, 1 AM, the police gets a call, it's mental health. They can call you and you will send the social worker to respond with that officer. Is
I don't know that they
correct?
necessarily respond with the officer, so what I have here, the information, is that if they call that the social worker will be on site, let me just read, sorry, I read this before, I read this just earlier today, actually. I just learned about this grant earlier
He used to
today.
be
I
the
know
mayor of
well.
the city of Owasso.
Oh,
This
Yes.
is his new job.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, I've only been on the job for a couple weeks.
well, we need to connect, because
Okay.
if that's the case, I really think the city should adopt.
Would you like to give him your number?
Absolutely,
Something?
let's
Sure.
meet after.
Sure. I'll stick around.
The meeting, and I'll
Yeah.
give you my phone number.
Absolutely, thank you, Mayor. That was the last thing I was going to remark, is that for those of you who don't know me, I used to be the mayor of Owasso for 3 terms. I was on the city council there for 13 and a half. That's why I joked I wasn't here to yell at you at the beginning, because every time I saw a new and unfamiliar face in the audience at a meeting, that's what I assumed, so.
Dr. Gazi is a new council member.
Welcome.
And
Great.
so, new.
Yeah.
We'll get you,
Well, I will try to have better answers for you next time I come, but I do plan on coming around to these. I was at the Lanesburg School Board last night
Great.
and spoke with them as well, because I know there's a lot of opportunities for us to partner with the schools. So,
Yeah, for their ICSS response, for the children, for the, I know exactly what you're doing, because I've worked and stuff like that.
great.
But that's an excellent resource. I don't know how to connect you to the police. I think that would be
Sure,
very, very important.
great.
does anybody else on council have any questions for Chris?
I do.
This is wonderful, thank you for
Please
sharing.
say your
Absolutely.
last name.
What, F with E as in Echo, V as in Victor, Echo, Lima, Echo, Tango, Hotel.
Okay.
I have to spell it that way because nobody will ever spell it right.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
We really
Thank you.
appreciate
Yeah,
you sharing
thank you.
this
Appreciate it.
important
Thank you.
information.
This is
Yeah.
very valuable.
Great, thank you.
Very valuable.
Anyone else here for public comment? No? Okay. We'll move on to communications. Shirley?
The only thing that I handed out tonight were the updated dates for planning commission and city council meetings and a revised resolution for item number 3 on the agenda. So we'll get to that.
That's it? That's it?
Yep.
Moving into mayor reports, I did just want to announce the standing committees. This is committees that are made up of council members. We've had these standing committees for several years now, but the members of the committees change as council members change. Our ordinance committee, our chair is Larry Lambert, Mindy Galvey, and Mike Connell are on that committee. Parks Committee, Megan Galbraith, our treasurer, is the chair of that committee. Kristen is on that, and is it Babel? Babel, thank you. Kristen Babel. And Jacob Puffer, who was a council member, now a member from the public, and George Dunn, long-standing member from the public, who are members of that committee. And they're always looking for new members. And that doesn't have to just be council, it can be members from the general public. So if you're interested in serving on that, contact Megan here at City Hall. Our personnel and Chair is Mike Connell. Mindy Galbavy and Kamal Ghazi are also on that committee. The City Property Insurance Policy Committee is made up of the city clerk Shirley, the DPW Superintendent Kevin Tyler, and myself. Our Perry Emergency Response Team, or PERT, is made up of the Police Chief Kyle Box, Fire Chief Trent Atkins, Genevieve Cottrell, myself, Scott Grinnell from the Fire Department, Dan Monroe, the Ambulance Chief, Rod Adair from Perry Public Schools, Megan Galbraith, our Treasurer, Shirley Smith, our Clerk, Kevin Tyler, our DPW Superintendent, Kamal Ghazi from Council. And then our grant team, we just mentioned a few minutes ago. The chair of that committee is Ron Kraus from the public. All of the department heads, as they would be participating for a particular grant. Myself and Jared Lytle from the Planning Commission. We also have the DPW Grounds Reorganization Team, and that is made up of Kevin Tyler, our DPW Supervisor. He's the chair, Bob Porter, and Tim DeLu from the general public. So that's all our standing committees. Thank you all for serving on those as needed. Moving into any committee reports that we might have. Do we have any committee reports from anyone? No? Okay. Looking at presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and the payments be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion? Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion passes. We don't have any old business. Moving then into new business, we're going to discuss the Christmas lighting contest. There's been discussion among the public and among council that perhaps this has run its course. But that's what we're here to discuss tonight. Do we want to keep doing it? Do we want to discontinue it? So, open for discussion.
I don't know how we can continue it when we have a criteria that we're supposed to follow. I really don't.
I would agree.
So, I'm sorry that Mr. Crane gave us what we're supposed to do. It was supposed to be a fun activity and get participants in the city and.
Is that his letter that you're referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's a shame that, you know, I think it's a fun thing. Little things like this bring communities together. But obviously it was a problem, you know, he voiced concern and he was, you know, convinced that there was some kind of nefarious, you know, situation going on. That's unfortunate. I don't know that we should, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater, though. I think maybe we should discuss it a little more.
Well, I think there's more to this discussion, and Larry, I think, I see you jumping out of your seat there. Go ahead.
No,
Go
I'll wait
ahead.
my turn, but
Yeah.
I think understanding what happened at the meeting that I wasn't at is unfortunate. But when I look back, I've been a part of having had the good fortune of winning a few years ago as a judge, and then when I came on council, kind of, most know, helped kind of spearhead the judging. Mindy took it over this year, but I still participated as, my wife and I, Linda, participated as judges. When you look back over the last few years of history, it has kind of run its course, in my opinion. We basically tried to stay away from having the same first place winners 2 years in a row, but when you look back, we've had probably about a half a dozen different residents within the city that have moved from, you know, first place to third place to honorable mention, and they're back into some other mode. I just really think that it's exciting to go around and see the lighting in the city, but I think as competition, if you will, it's probably time to put it to bed, if you will.
It seems that we're just moving it from this address of winners moves to the third place, and then the second place moves to the first place, and then the first, you know, it just seems to be the same winners, not the same winners, but again, I would agree with what Larry said. It just seems to be that it's run its course. Other comments?
I'm sorry, I'd like to make some comments on this, but I can wait for the public comments at the end if you'd like.
That's okay, Chris, go ahead. Just limit yourself
Yeah.
to a couple minutes.
Again, I was here last week when this was discussed, and I thought it was terrible. I mean, because it's supposed to be Christmas. Now, personally, I'm not a Christmas person. I don't celebrate Christmas, right? I mean, to me, it's just another Hallmark holiday, Coca-Cola made up same thing, so, like, but I think the issue is because there is a cash prize. And nobody's doing it because they just want to do it. They want to be known, right? So I think, like, if it's a competition that's a friendly competition and you're doing it for personal pride, that's great. But like, otherwise you lead to you guys being attacked, and I don't think that's right. Like, if you're not going to do it just because you're enjoying it, you shouldn't.
Thank you, Chris.
And so I'm not in on all this Facebook stuff, I don't do all that, so I just come here.
Well, we
My only other
appreciate
thought
that.
too would be, you know, do you do it even number of years, odd number of years, something like that? Like, so it's not an every year thing, every 5 years? I mean, I'm fine scrapping it if that's what people want to do too. I usually got enough stuff going on in my evenings that I don't make it out to it, I've never made it out to it, so I'm not gonna say it should stay or go, you know, based on how involved I am, but I don't know if lengthening it out would help any.
My personal feeling is that it shouldn't be a contest. People should decorate for the love of the decoration, of the holiday. Whether their love of it is Coca-Cola, or Santa, or Jesus Christ, or whatever their reason for decorating is, should be the reason they decorate. Certainly when we have the wagon rides during Christmas Fantasy, we always contact the people in the neighborhood where the wagon rides will occur so that they'll know there will be a wagon full of people going by and they'll want to have their lights on. But other than that,
Well, and I was gonna bring up something similar to that, like how, you know, you can give your address if you wanna be part of the garage sale, you know? If folks wanted people to come and see their house, maybe they could, you know, give their address and we could have a night where, you know, here are all the addresses of people that have their lights on, you know,
Sure.
go enjoy, maybe even make it a fundraiser or something.
well, we could have that during Christmas Fantasy if we wanted to do something like that, you know, hand out the addresses to the people that come for the Christmas Fantasy, and maybe as they leave on their way home, they might want to drive by those houses that are decorated, but
Sure.
So if we want to take the competition out of it too,
Yeah.
we should
Yeah,
just,
be
well, we
more
could
about
just
the
have it
street.
where something like, you know, their address could be like featured on the city webpage, you know. If we're gonna do it, say, December 15th, we're gonna go around and take pictures. If you're interested, send us your address. We'll feature houses on a webpage. There's not really a winner, but, you know,
Yeah, and then.
that takes the competition out of it. And
It's more about the spirit,
Yeah.
which is what it should be in the first place.
And I think that should be on the Parks Committee agenda. So Kristen,
Oh,
take
snap.
that to your Parks Committee. I think the Parks Committee should generate, I think that'd be a great place to do that.
Probably is.
Talk with your committee about that.
All
But
right.
let's decide for sure, does council want to
Can I say something?
eliminate the actual, oh, yes, Mike,
I
sure you
think
can.
there shouldn't be any judges at all.
And that's exactly what.
There should be a drop box and let the people of the town put something in a drop box
Yeah.
and count it up.
Well, the problem with that is it wouldn't just be the people from the town.
And somebody
It would
could
be
put
whoever
100
calls
in.
the most friends to put their name in the box. You know,
Yeah.
I just think
Well,
the contest
you
part
couldn't
of it
write
needs
letters
to
to
go.
the judges or the township, or the
Exactly.
town that way.
It can't be a city-sponsored,
Event.
award-based
Yeah,
event anymore.
Right.
yeah,
Can't,
Yeah.
that's gone.
yeah.
Well,
I feel like, it's an activity that's meant to bring the community together. And I don't look at Facebook, but from what I've been told, what people have seen on Facebook, instead it has divided the community.
Yep.
So what's the point?
I agree. Any further discussion? Looking for a motion.
I move that we discontinue the Christmas light contest effective the 2025 season.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you all, and Kristen, we'll look for you to get that on the Parks Committee agenda.
All righty.
Our second item of new business is the amendment to the personnel policy, and Shirley's going to talk to us about that.
Right. So I did, actually Megan printed this up. I am not quite sure where she found it, but we have sat in on a couple webinars on the new, sick leave, the Earned Sick Time Act, that's what it's called. And so we've sat in a couple of these webinars, and basically we have to offer 1 hour of sick time for every 30 hours of work. So this amendment is just really amending our part-time policy, because the full-time exceeds the requirement for the act. So that's what we're doing, and I apologize because I'm missing some of my notes for.
Oh, you are? Do you
No,
want
not
to-
that,
Oh.
but just the policy. I missed it. I don't know what I did with it, but that's okay. That's okay, I don't, no, that's all right, I don't need it, but that's basically what it is. So we're just adding one time of, it's right here. 1 hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked. Full-time employees who quit or terminated will not be eligible to accumulate sick leave pay. And then part-time employees will not be paid out sick time. So that's the only change. Do you have anything to add?
So the amendment to the personnel policy is so we are in compliance with
Right.
this new act,
Yeah.
basically. And there's really not much to change because we're almost in compliance.
Yep. It's just adding that
Yep.
part-time.
So the amendment, the vote for that, as you read it, is kind of self-explanatory if you want to take a minute and read through that.
We only have to read the two items that we are changing.
So,
I move that we approve the following amendment to the personnel policy regarding paid sick leave. E, paid sick leave. 2, part-time employees, as defined in section B2 of this policy, shall receive 1 hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked. 9, full-time employees who quit or are terminated will not be eligible for accumulated sick leave pay. Part-time employees will not be paid out for sick time.
Second.
we have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to number 3 in our new business, that is a resolution regarding our Board of Review. And that was brought to our attention by a member of the Board of Review, Bob's wife Jennifer, that we don't have any written policy allowing people who are paying property taxes to appeal to the assessor, the Board of Review, in writing. It says they have to appear before the board to present any question they might have about how they're being taxed. So this resolution has been drafted between Shirley and Mr. Porter and his wife and our attorney, Justin, and this would allow people to write a letter or an email to the Board of Review if they have questions.
Some of us is a little confusion,
What?
because the law says you don't, if you own property non-resident, you can do it via writing. if you're a resident, you have to show up in person. I think they just wanted some clarification because that was,
Did you see the email?
no, I
We
read
have-
that one,
We have a new resolution.
Yeah, there's a new resolution too.
that was not correct.
Yeah, that's the correct one. But did you see
It
the?
says no personal appearance for property owners shall be required regardless of residency.
Right, did you see the
So
email
they don't have
that,
to come in.
that?
Yeah, I just, personally, I disagree because there's questions that come up and if they're not there to answer the questions, how can you approve or disapprove approve, I guess, the petition to question their property tax?
If you would, I would expect if the Board of Review still had questions, they would have to say no, determination made, more information is needed, and they'd either have to then come in or write a new letter.
But on I gave you a revised.
I read that.
And you read his, from the Shipping compiled law. Okay.
We can adopt this, yes, we can make it so they can
Mhm.
do it via mail. I think that makes people lazy. Just my opinion.
Mhm.
If you want to complain, or I shouldn't say complain, protest your taxes, and your assessment actually is what it is, of your house, then you should have the time to come in front of the Board of Review and state your case.
But, and I agree that they should, but it shouldn't be different for people who don't live here and people that do live here. I think it should be the same. That's just my
You
opinion.
might have somebody who can't get out of their house, who has to rely on SATA to bring them,
There's ways.
doesn't drive.
There's ways to do it. I just think we're making it, it's fine. This is my opinion. That's all. And in some regard, it might be easier, but I just think that if it's easier to write a letter and say, I don't like my assessment, and then leave it alone, because not all the information gets sent with that letter.
Mhm.
Well, and certainly then a decision couldn't be made, and it'd have to be, no decision made, more information needed, so.
That's true.
Yeah. Just for those of you that perhaps didn't have an opportunity to see this ahead of time, the main change in this from what was in your packet earlier is that, 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph, now therefore it's resolved that beginning with the March 2025 Board of Review, the Assessor's Office will also receive all petitions by mail or email, regardless of residency of the property owner. No personal appearance of the property owner shall be required, regardless of residency. Petitions by mail or email must be received by the date designated and published by the assessor. That's the big difference. That was never allowed before. Any further discussion or questions on this?
Who's responsible if the email doesn't come through a firewall or something like that? Just out of curiosity, because you might get something like that.
If we don't get it, we can't act on it. It's,
It could be then on the person to follow up,
Yep.
I
if
would
it
say,
wasn't received.
it's the sender's responsibility to make sure it got received.
Could we add that language? Because I could see that becoming an issue later
I could
down
not
the
add
road.
that. This was drafted by our attorney.
Okay.
I think both people, if they took the time to write a letter or something like that and got no response, would follow up. And, like the example you used with the firewall, if it didn't get past that, I mean, that's not malicious on somebody not
No.
trying to receive it. So I think if somebody followed up, it would just be, sorry we didn't receive it, and act from there.
And for the most part, if people are physically able, it's in their own best interest to appear at the Board of Review. This just gives them an option if they're not able
Right.
to have another avenue.
Right.
I move that we approve the following resolution. Whereas the assessor's office does not currently offer to petition the Board of Review by mail or email, whereas the assessor's office and the Board of Review offers in-person petition hours every March. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that beginning on the March 2025 Board of Review, the assessor's office will also receive all petitions by mail or email regardless of residency of the property owner. No personal appearance of the property owner shall be required regardless of residency. Petitions may be mailed or emailed, must be received by the date designated and published by the assessor.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Council, we did receive a letter from the property owner to the north of the McQueen House on Madison Street. Long enough ago, it was in December, that I did talk with our attorney after we got the letter and followed his directions as to what we needed to do to discuss this, and that is all now in your packet. The letter is from Ryan and Ashley Lamoureux. They live on Madison Street, which is the house north of the McQueen House. When we did the survey, when the city did the survey of the driveway area that used to lead to that old barn, because we had talked about the possibility of making that into a parking area to extend this parking lot. But it was determined that that's just not wide enough to be a parking area. So, in the meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Lamoureux inquired as to their ability to buy that. They would like to buy that driveway area. As you can see from the copy of the survey drawing in your packet, their lot is skinny. So I could see why they'd like to buy that. So I did ask Barb Roll-Weisga, who's a realtor in this area, very familiar with the area and values in the area, to give us a fair market value, and that was based on our attorney's email telling that that would be a requirement. So she did, again, you've got a copy of this, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the estimated value of the 33-foot wide by 132-foot deep Madison Street portion of the McQueen home lot would be between $2,750 and $3,500. So it has to be sold for fair market value if we sell it. It does not have to go to a vote of the people because it doesn't meet the percentages required for that. And again, in his email, attorney went over that detail, why that's important. The other thing about this is, in his email, he also said that the requirement is to sell the property at a public sale. That's what the charter says, that any city-owned property has to be sold at a public sale. So we can't just sell it to a person who asked us if they could buy it. It has to go up for sale. So the value is fair market value as presented here. And truly, with its width and depth, it's not usable for anything else except an extension of someone's property. But that being said, he says, it would seem the property needs to be offered to the public and not just the neighboring landowners. So, things we need to decide tonight are, do we want to entertain selling it? And if so, we need to put it on the market for sale. And we can advertise it like we've advertised our other piece we have for sale down on M52. Put it on the website, put it on Facebook, on the community page, all those places. It's very small, not much money, but still we need to follow the requirements of the charter. So, open for discussion.
I have a question for clarity.
Yep.
because it's reads 16 feet wide, if I remember it, and by 132.
No, it's not 16, it's 33 feet
33,
wide.
sorry.
Yeah.
33, is one, isn't it 33 by 198, because it'd be the,
No, because that
North
goes into our parking lot. We don't want to sell our parking lot.
no, well, if you look at this, is this the parking lot?
Yes, that's the parking
Okay.
lot. Yeah.
It's not very descriptive.
I know, yeah. It doesn't have anything drawn on it.
So
Yeah.
the McQueen house sits on 11 and 12.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So I have a question too.
Yeah,
So the person that wants to buy it, theirs is lot 9.
correct.
So does it go all the way back
Their lot
To-
9 goes all the way back to the alley.
Yes.
to
Yes.
the alley?
Mhm, yeah.
So where it says block 6?
Yeah.
That's part of theirs, or is that?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
This whole big square
Could
is
we-
block 6.
Okay.
Their lot is lot 9. So the legal description is block 6, lot 9,
Lot 9.
blah, 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 blah.
Could we talk to them about extending our parking lot?
Oh,
And
we could certainly ask them, but based on their letter, I don't think they want to do that.
Yeah.
They kind of wanted to buy the whole depth. They wanted it to go back 198 feet, but we don't want to sell part of
But it
our.
all-
Or you can't sell part of
It's
the
gonna
parking lot, I
bump
didn't
into
realize
our
that part of the
parking
parking lot.
lot. Unfortunately,
Say that again.
It's gonna,
No, it'll stop at that corner,
It would stop
so
right at
it'll
the,
go across here.
yeah, it would stop at the 132 feet mark.
okay, so then it's just their property.
A little bit kind of an L shape, yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe we can
the little
make
panhandle.
a deal. So we could add a little bit more parking.
Well, we could have discussion, once we put it up for sale and nobody else wants it. But the thing is, if we start getting offers on it, then
Right.
We're kind of.
We have to,
you'll have to pick me up off the floor first, but then we can talk about it.
Now, I do have a question though. Why
Yeah.
do we want to extend the parking lot?
Because we are so limited on our parking lot in the downtown.
Is it not big enough?
Yeah, we don't have really enough.
And the parking lot is lot 7, 8,
no, it's
No.
only that little lot 10,
oh.
lot
this
10, but then it goes to the solid line where it has 198.
So all this.
But
So
the
this is the alley.
And this is parking lot up to here.
Oh, got it.
So what we're talking about would be to
Just like this.
have this
area.
section here be
Yeah.
potentially sold.
Got it,
Got it?
got it, yep, got it.
Yep. The alley is this little skinny part right here. This is where the city Christmas decorations were, like right here.
Yeah,
The fire station is right here.
yeah,
That's the library.
yep, yep. Now I'm taking a picture.
All right.
It was very nondescript drawing, I was like,
I'm
"What the
sorry,
heck- what the heck is it?"
I'm sorry.
I understand the plot part and the lot part, but it's like, where are all these?
So if we would like to look into selling this, again, it has to go on public market for sale. I would suggest putting it on the market for sale for the $3,500. And see how we go. I'd limit that maybe to a month. Why drag it out? We
Yeah.
know the neighbor is interested, we don't want him to feel ignored.
And what about the other two?
Other two what?
11 and 12, that's where the McQueen
Yeah,
house sits
21
on.
and 520. Are those different parking?
Those are
areas
just
too?
examples that she used in generating the
Oh,
potential
got
value.
it, got it, okay.
Yeah, those are,
Now we're
sale-
on the same page.
those are properties that have sold that she
Yep.
used, for example. so-
Now we're on the same page.
Protracting the discussion, do we have any obligation to contact the Historical Society? That is a portion of their north lot, our north lot that they use occasionally. more out of courtesy than,
The attorney did not mention the need to do that.
okay.
Further discussion? Thoughts? Somebody want to make up a motion?
I move that the city sells a lot next to the McQueen House for $3,500. Bids are open to the public. The deadline to submit a quote is February 28th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you for that. I'll give the Lamros a call tomorrow and just let them know, because I've talked to them a couple times on the phone when they first called about it, and then they sent a letter, and so I'll just let them know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, we do have, next on our new business agenda, discuss and approve the fee for the chicken permit.
I left that off.
That's
Got
right.
left off of this one,
I
huh?
left it off of both, I apologize.
It is number
I'm
5
not
on new
gonna lie.
business. I think you all do have this in your packet.
Yeah.
And it's the very top one, animal permit. We do have under animal permit livestock, and that's $30. Chicken has been added by Shirley so you could see how it would look in that permit page, and the recommendation is $10 for that fee.
Is that $10 for each chicken?
Is-
$10
Per
One
year.
time.
Yeah, and I can change that to say per year.
If you remember the ordinance, we said would be an annual
Annual
compliance
permit.
permit. And quite honestly, when I talked to Shirley about it, I said, what does a dog license cost? And that's $10
If the dog is spayed or
for
neutered.
a dog that's spayed or neutered annually. So I said, okay, to me, $10 is a reasonable number.
Because that's $10 per dog.
Right,
Yeah.
right, this
Right.
is,
This is just
This is
an
for the-
annual permit for the flock.
for the,
Up
for
to-
the site or the flock,
What did we say, 6?
5,
5.
maximum of 5 hens, no roosters.
So $2 a head, $2 a bird. What is the livestock permit? Why did we have that on there?
Because we
do
have some
Because
ag
of
property.
agriculture area that
We have ag
comes
Couple
in.
slices of agricultural land.
What's the animal permit application? It's just for anyone who has any
Yep, so it
animal?
would go with, that's.
Just the chicken and livestock?
Yes.
Yeah, there is an animal permit form that we already have available for other, uses. And it's just a matter of modifying it to use the same application for a chicken compliant permit.
Further discussion?
I move that we approve the chicken compliance permit annual fee of $10.
I second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Kamal. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. That's the end of our new business. Is there any other business to come before council at this time? Council, any other discussions or observations you'd like to make? Or anyone else from the public who'd like to bring public comment? Agenda items for our next meeting? Anyone? Anything? Okay. We're adjourned. 11 minutes before 8.